I think this story starts with the Pavlovich fight, but we could debate this all day long.
But even like the Pavlovich fight, it was like Jon had just fought Cyril
in
8
March.
or 9 months prior, and it was like there was still hope that it would just be Jon.
But he was going to be out for a year. You know what I mean? He had
was
surgery on his elbow, surgery on his shoulder. You call up Tom in the middle of the night. You give him the interim title fight. It could have been so much cleaner. Let's go through a bit of a timeline here. All right? So really you could say Pavlovich, maybe you could pick another date. Let's start with March of 2024 when they see each other at this expo. The only time they ever see each other face to face, a very memorable moment.
Well, do this quickly.
Wait, do one. Just saying hello. Just saying hello. What's going on, man?
How are you?
I'm all good, man.
Oh.
We're going to do this thing.
I would hope so.
I would love to, man.
I would hope so.
Respect, man.
All the best.
Respect.
All the best.
We'll do a quick picture.
Sure.
Yeah?
Let's get it.
A face-off.
No,
Just
no.
okay. No problem. No problem.
That's great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jon. Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
I would love to have the honor one day. I would love to have the honor.
Maybe one day.
Hope so, man. All the best. All the
Maybe
best.
one
How's
day.
everything?
It's healing. So slowly but surely.
Okay. All the best, man.
Look at the way he looks at him.
Thank you, man. Thanks for letting me
Like,
come
you
on. Thank
son of a bitch, you came up on me like that. You son of a bitch. What an asshole Tom is, huh? I would love to have the honor.
Well known asshole.
Tom comes back in July of 2024, and he beats Curtis Blades in seconds in the middle of the night. By the way, shout out to the YouTube channel. They put together a really nice video with some videos of Tom and his father Andy when Tom was just a little kid training. Really great retrospective stuff. Anyway, in August of 2024, Tom is talking to Michael Bisping on his great YouTube channel, and he kind of predicts all of this. Take a look.
There's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him.
There it is. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. That's 9 months ago. And by the way, I do want to give a special shout out to my good friend Bootlicker Bisping, who just a few weeks ago said that I didn't know what I was talking about regarding Jon saying he was in, he was out. Also did a video about my 6-month thing. Jon was first telling the UFC that he wanted 6 months when they wanted this fight to be in August, needed the 6 months. And then they said, okay, MSG, we got you the money. Anyway, he's been doing a great job of content farming. Is that it? I don't know. But he clearly watches. And so I just want to say hello to him because I know he takes a lot of content from us. Likes to refute my stuff, but time and again, I prove to be correct. Anyway, in November, Jon returns to fight Stipe in that highly anticipated fight. Stipe, one of the greatest of all time, obviously a decorated champion who had not fought in several years, full-time firefighter at that point. Here he is talking to Kevin Iole on his great platform about the prospect of fighting Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall's the guy that people want to see you fight, right? So here's the question. You're fighting Stipe Miocic, and I know you're focused on that fight. If you defeat him, as you're a 6-1 favorite to win the fight, if you defeat him, will you defend your belt against Aspinall, who has the interim title?
More than likely not. More than likely not. I feel like Tom Aspinall is, I don't want to say nobody, but he just hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything. And I understand that. I mean, he won his belt against Sergey. Sergey just got slaughtered by someone else. So it's just like, I'm not here to gamble someone else making a name off of me.
At that point, by the way, Tom had won his UFC debut. He beat Jake Collier via a 45-second knockout. He then beat Alain Badeau in a minute and 35 seconds via TKO. He submitted Andrei Arlovsky, Jon's good friend, in the second round, a minute and 9 seconds. He TKO'd Sergey Spivak. He submitted Alexander Volkov. He blew out his knee against Curtis Blades, came back a year later and TKO'd Marcin Tybura in a minute and 13 seconds. He knocked out Sergey Pavlovich in 69 seconds. That's what Tom, the quote-unquote nobody, had done up until that point. Pretty much beat everyone that he could have, other than the top dog, who clearly did not want to fight him. Then at the pre-fight press conference, a day later, Dana White is asked about whether or not Jon will fight Tom.
We all know that this Saturday has to take place, but for you personally, do you still want to see the winner of this fight Tom Aspinall to unify the heavyweight title?
Was that for me?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Do you want to see the winner fight Tom?
The winner should absolutely fight Tom.
Yeah, no one cares about this guy, right? This is New York City. There's petitions being made. Unprecedented. No one cares about him. What a look. Stipe's like, please get me home. Yeah, no one cares. We've never heard anything like this. What a look. What a look. By the way, the day prior, Jon is asked by the media about why he doesn't really seem all that interested in fighting Tom and gives the greatest answer of them all. Take a look.
They see it as like this great challenge. They want to see greatness challenge. Like, does that entice you at all still?
There's a part of it that does, but if I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying, and obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot. But he's just an asshole. You know, with his. You know, he's 30, so he's from this influencer generation where you hop online and the T-shirt sales and all that. I'm past that type of stuff. I'm like, bro, if you had a little bit more respect, then maybe we could have worked something out, you know. But I just don't even want to do business with him. You know, at the end of the day, this is a business, and fighting me gives him an opportunity to change his life forever. And I don't even want to give him the opportunity. Like he just played his cards wrong with me personally, and you know I'm 3 years from being a 40-year-old grown man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the press conference, going through the whole shebang with him. I'd rather not do. Pereira on the other side, respectful, cool, barely says much. It's like I'll do business with you. I would risk it all with a human being like you. You actually have the accolades to back up your shit. This other guy is just a big mouth who's hot today. There's been so many guys who's hot today who are just gone. You know, Sergey was in the same position not too long ago. Now he's starting to fall off already. I've just been around this sport too long to give a big mouth who's hot today the opportunity.
PT, how great is that? Tom and influencer in the same sentence.
I'd say he's more offended by being called an influencer than he is being called an arsehole. Honestly, I'd say he's like, I can't fucking believe he said that. Very funny line, though, in fairness.
Is there any evidence, by the way, of Tom being disrespectful or being a quote-unquote asshole towards Jon at any point throughout all this? The only evidence I have really is Tom saying, like, yeah, it would be great to fight him, but honestly, all I want is to just be the undisputed champion. That's it. That's the only...
Then it went to, like, oh, he's not going to fight me. I think he's going to retire. I'm going to retire him without fighting. That is the worst thing he said, and it's 100% true. And like, not for nothing, I can't think of a more down-to-earth guy that is in a spot like Tom I've ever met in the fight game. If we could roll the tram footage again, please, where he's telling people not to vape on the train.
It's great.
I mean, this is PSAs he's doing for free. He gains nothing from this, and he's doing this. And I think he's the perfect tonic to Jones. In the sense that, and look, Rick's right about the cult of personality. This stuff in the fight game, these darker aspects of people's personality is what attract the fans to the sport in many ways. But as we've seen with McGregor, we've seen with Jon, when it's a litany of things, it does start to tarnish your legacy to some extent. And you're just not going to get that with Tom. Tom is going to fight often, and he's going to fight, as GC put it earlier, like, this is what he needs to do to be put across. That he is a guy that wants to be in that spot as an invincible guy. He is a young man in this spot. He will fight as much as he can. The only problem, I think, and it's a problem that we usually see in PFL. This is what's worrying for the UFC. This is a problem we usually see in the PFL or KSW or something like that. It's on the promotion to get the bodies that will make the people interested. It's just simply not on Tom here. He's a brilliant fighter. We know that already. But it's on them. And that's why I'm so disappointed to hear. And look, I know that the contract thing with PFL, it's not sewn up. But, like, you know, he still has a contract with the PFL. for Dana White to simply dismiss that, Francis Ngannou, a guy, if you moved him into this situation, Ben Folks has been talking about, you've been talking about, Chuck's been talking about it too. If you move him into this situation and put him against Tom, the fan base immediately forgets about the Jon Jones, the weight, everything. It immediately becomes this massive, massive fight, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world against Tom Aspinall. For him to completely dismiss that is disappointing for me as a fan of a promoter. We've seen this in boxing many, many times. Boxing promoters fall in and out with fighters all the time, but they know when to swallow their pride for the product. And it's disappointing to me that Dana White will not swallow his pride for the product, because that is the only reason why he wouldn't want Francis Ngannou back in this promotion.
Very, very well said. And by the way, this is ultimately the biggest difference between Dana and Vince McMahon. Vince would always do business, regardless of his past history with someone. Dana will not.
Can I just say one thing on the Francis thing? Because I've been thinking about this. For one, he just did the whole, I guarantee we're going to do this fight, and it completely blew up in his face. So if I was in Dana White's shoes, maybe I wouldn't go as hard at the Francis, like never going to happen. Maybe it's more of a we'll see down the line, whatever. But also, as you said, Francis is under contract with the PFL. It does not help his leverage or his negotiating power to be like, yes, we will find a way. I'm very interested. It's probably the best course of action to actually get this done is for this to play out the way it's playing out. Now, can he ultimately on the back end of this, like sneak it in the back door and make it happen? Let's see. But I don't think it helps him from a negotiation standpoint, from a leverage standpoint, to be like, I'm very interested in Francis Ngannou. So maybe it's the best thing that will actually ultimately.
But if he said we'll see, that'll be fine. We'd all go, that is a
but then we'll
shift from where we
speculate, then
were.
we'll do this. Shut it down.
Exactly.
I think it actually might help. It actually might help.
So you
in the
think
long
that's
run.
a strategic thing? You think that's a strategic thing?
I don't know if
That's
it's
nothing to do with-
strategic, but I think it helps more than harms.
I get
my
what you're
feeling.
saying, but it is so personal. I mean, just look at the disdain
for sure.
that he shows on his face when talking about Francis.
Yeah.
Like he can't escape it. It is so personal. He will never ever. No, it's by the way, it's not even just the Francis thing. It's you got to do business with another promoter. No way. These guys who are essentially like, drowning right now. You're gonna prop them up. You're going to give them the rub? No chance.
If you had even the slightest hope of Tom John last week, it has to be 100x less chance of Francis Ngannou coming back and fighting Tom Aspinall. There's just no way.
And it's because of his personal grudge.
Yeah, it's the business, it's the personal grudge, because
the contracts, everything.
he said no, thank you, I'm walking off. Oh yeah, you're gonna walk off. All right, we'll show you. And he's not a free agent. If he was a free agent, I'd say, okay, maybe there's a shot, but you got to work with PFL, and that contract isn't up for a very long time. We're kidding ourselves. It's just a shame. You're 100% right, PT. That's the fight to make it. That's the best way to fix all of this, but it ain't happening. November 17th, after the Stipe victory, John's win over Stipe, he is asked to expand on his Tom is an asshole thoughts. Here's what he said.
What specifically has he said or done to make him an asshole?
There's just a lot of people on his nuts right now, and
But what does that make him an asshole?
Coming up with Jon Jones T-shirts, buying a little duck, and just the little shit that he does. He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me, and that's my own personal. He annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying, and I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that fuck you money, honestly. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Or else my life is perfect without him. I don't need him at all. And he needs me. And that's a good place to be in a negotiation.
And they got him that money. Which can only prove that he was never interested in fighting him. A month later, last show of the year, Buckley Covington, Dana White is asked about the fight.
Jones versus Aspinall, is that sort of the big priority, and you think that's the biggest fight the promotion can put on in 2025?
100%. And I think it's probably the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and it's a massive fight in the history of the company too. It's a big fight.
Yeah, we know Tom Aspinall's down. Jones is kind of like on the fence, or at least that's what he said publicly. But
Right.
have you talked?
It's weird.
How confident?
What's weird about that? Let me tell you what's weird about that. So usually, those guys say that shit behind the scenes and not publicly. John says that shit publicly, but not behind the scenes. John is a very unique individual to deal with. from day one, I've been confident that Jon Jones would do that fight, right? I mean, even before the fight, I said if he won, there's no way Jon doesn't do this fight. Jon Jones isn't afraid to fight anybody, and that's a fact. And the only time that anything remotely weird has ever happened with Jon Jones was the time that his fucking camp did the weird Chael Sonnen thing. We can't fight Chael Sonnen on short notice. Other than that, and that wasn't him. It was his team, and he listened to his team for whatever reason. But that's like the goofiest fucking move in the history of the UFC. But other than that, Jon Jones behind the scene is not a guy that turns down fights.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah, I'll say 100%.
Good stuff from Danny Segura. By the way, when we're talking about the legacy and the story and the book being written, the reason why Ngannou Jones didn't happen was because of Jon Jones. And now the reason why Aspinall Jones isn't happening is because of Jon Jones. Them's the facts. There's no other way to slice it. A few months later, Dana White is asked at the UFC 313 post-fight press conference if this fight is still going to happen. Here's what he said.
You were talking about Tom and Jon. Tom released that video blog a few days ago on the train where he was saying like Jon's side is holding up the fight. What is he referring to there?
Well, I think that, listen, Jon Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confidence? I think you said Jon
I'm
would fight
very
in
confident
summer on first
that fight happens, yeah.
Summer?
Yeah.
Not only is it not happening, it's not happening in the summer. We found out it's around this time where the money comes through. And I don't know if it's exactly before or after, but it's around this period where Jon says essentially thanks, but no thanks. Just a couple of months later, Dana White is asked about it on an IG Live. He's consistently asked about it, but here's what he said in May about this fight. So a little over a month ago.
Tom Aspinall, I didn't read it. I told you guys already, we'll get Aspinall versus Jones done. Jon Jones versus the heavyweight fight will happen. Relax. I'll announce that soon.
What happened there? What's going on?
I don't know, but I was watching that IG Live in real time. I was watching it live. One of the funniest Dana White clips of all time. Just like the Jon Jones. Heavyweight fight's going to happen, guys. Don't worry. It's just like, did he forget Tom's name? Did he get something stuck in his throat? I don't know what it was. And the fact that he's in like a bathroom makes it all the better. It's like a hotel bathroom. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, my God. It's incredible. Well, just a few weeks later, at the post-presser for UFC 316, he's asked again about it, obviously. And for the first time reveals Jon accepted the fight. But he doesn't tell you the very important detail after that, which is he then unaccepted the fight. Take a look.
So, Dan, just to clarify there, you said Jon has agreed to fight with Tom.
To clarify, you said that Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes?
Jon agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said
Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes.
So but he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
So there's some rumors out there that you guys had offered him his fuck you money and he turned it down.
Unless you hear it come from here or we put out a press release, don't believe any of this bullshit. It's like the Turkey stuff, you know what I mean? And everybody's saying, I know Turkey said some stuff, but unless we come out and say something, it's all bullshit. I just don't get sucked into that stuff anymore. I don't even care. I don't even listen to it. And most of the time, the shit that I hear that happens, I hear from you guys when I come to things like this. Otherwise, I don't care and I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. But yes, Jon agreed to fight Tom.
2 weeks later, Dana confirms that what we said was true. And oh, by the way, yesterday at the Canelo Crawford presser, Turkey himself talks about how everything fell apart with the Netflix people, and he thanks Nick Khan for bringing them together and for fixing it. He even specifically mentioned the date, May 16th. when there was supposed to be a presser for the Netflix up front. And so even that was true. And so he's telling you, like, unless you hear it from me, I mean, no, actually, it's almost the opposite at this point. Anyway, just a few days later, Dana White is on the Jim Rome show. And guess what? He's asked about Tom and Jon. Now we're like 4 months past the point of Jon turning down the fight. Here's what he had to say.
What I'm about to ask you, you're not going to say is the beauty of what we do, because I know you're sick of the question. Does Jon Jones not want to fight, or does Jon Jones just not want to fight Tom Aspinall?
It's a great question, Chip.
Listen, Jon Jones has been an interesting human being to deal with since the day he got here. But I will say this about him. You would never hear me out, talking about he's the GOAT and he's the this and he's the that if Jon Jones didn't want to fight people. Jon Jones has never, ever said, I'm afraid to fight this guy, or I don't like this fight for me, or any of that stuff. One time, his coach at the time, back in the day, I don't know if he's still with them or whatever.
How's it let go of that?
I think it's the only fight we've ever canceled. Had to cancel a show because of, but he wouldn't fight Chael Sonnen because his coach thought it was a bad idea to take that fight on late notice. But it had nothing to do with Jon Jones.
He sort of did.
Jon Jones has never turned down an opponent here or been afraid to fight
What about
anybody.
Francis?
So if, for instance, he doesn't fight this guy, who would you like to see him fight? Or are you going to wait until he fights this guy?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
I was going to say, Dana, my last thought on that. How long are you going to wait? I mean, how long is it worth waiting for?
I said a couple weeks.
Couple weeks?
We'll have answers in the next couple weeks.
Well, there you go. Baku was the spot. I feel like everything went into overdrive once the John Nelk Boys interview came out, because I feel like he forced their hand at that point. Here's what he had to say.
Tom Aspinall and all the things that he's been saying about you.
I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. I'm in a spot right now where I'm really enjoying the fruits of my labor, all the hard work I put in. He's not in a position. He's not in a position to excite me. It's just the truth. Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes in.
Isn't that what being a champion is?
My whole adult life.
It's crazy.
How many happy dads?
I don't know, but it's
16.
The thought process is insane, because there is no other guy. Tom is so popular at this point because of all of this nonsense. And does anyone disagree with the fact that this would be the biggest fight for Jon Jones since DC2?
No.
Smith,
Absolutely.
Reyes, Thiago Santos, those were all just sort of all right, let's move on. He comes back. Okay, it's a big fight, but nothing even remotely close to this. Dana himself called it the biggest heavyweight fight of all time.
And Jon did the best promotion for it to an extent, and then walked away from it. But yes, I agree.
But here's the thing, we haven't put this in the quotes. One thing he said, and he said it often, was, "You guys want to see me challenged, like it's some type of shock." Like that's what that fucking gold belt is about. It's about guys constantly trying to climb the ladder and get the belt off you. Like when he's describing this situation, like, Tom's gonna come along, and then another guy's gonna come along. Yeah, that's what being a champion is. You should know that better than anyone, John. Like you're the most successful fighter who ever lived. That is essentially what being at the top of the mountain is. And he keeps on saying it like it's some criticism of fight sports fans. But that is literally the whole fucking sport. Any aspect of this sport, any aspect of any combat sport you look at, that is what the goal is, to get to the top of the mountain and have other guys try to pursue you. I just never understood that as a defense as to why he's not fighting Tom Aspinall. It's crazy.
There's a second part to that, though, which is that he felt like Tom was not the guy, right? He was saying that, but he was also saying there's other challenges out there. There's a Francis, there's an Alex. It is not Tom. So it wasn't that he was just saying like, oh, I'm not ready for any challenges. He was saying Tom is not there yet. It's not a dismissal of the idea of fighting. It's the dismissal of the idea of Tom Aspinall is not worthy of my time to fight, which he was pretty consistent with. Whether we believe him or not is a separate issue, but I don't think that part is like him not saying what he means.
Again,
pretty
if he wasn't the champion, if they would have just made Tom the champion when he beat Pavlovich, no one would have really cared about, fun fight against
Do the
Stipe,
super fights, yeah.
fun fight here, fun fight there. But the fact that they made him keep that belt, it changed everything. He did not realize what the duty was, amazingly, of being the UFC heavyweight champion. There's a duty there. And so it's not like we're trying to see you lose or we want, no, you got to fight the next man. It's not up to you to decide who's interesting and who's exciting. That's not how this works. It's never been how this works.
A few exceptions, though, right? He kind of got to make it work this way in a way that basically it's like him and Connor. Who could have gotten away with this bullshit other than them? It kind of did work, but only because he was Jon Jones. That's not really what it's supposed to be.
You don't think Pantoja could do this?
No, I don't think Pantoja's got the clout to be able to do it.
For the sake of the timeline, once again, to complete this whole damn thing, here's officially how Jon Jones's reign comes to an end.
On the heavyweight front, you recently set a deadline for Jon Jones to face Tom Aspinall or risk losing the title. And with that situation evolving, what criteria are you using to decide uphold legacy by waiting for Jones or prioritize division activity by clearing the belt?
You said the timeline for Jones, 2 weeks to decide what to do with the title, whether it takes the fight or you're going to strip him. What do you think is more important, to keep the belt there so he can uphold his legacy, or we move the heavyweight division, take the title away from him?
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Thank you very much.
All right, so there it is. There's the announcement right there. That's the one. Put it in the Hall of Fame. That's how the illustrious career and the heavyweight title reign, which included one defense in the span of 2+ years, comes to an end. He's asked some subsequent questions, but it's pretty much all in that announcement right there. He's in New York the following day, yesterday, Sunday, and is asked about not only the news that came out minutes later of Jon Jones's new legal issue, but all of this story that I've been banging the drum about him saying yes and him saying no, that Dana White said back in Newark, unless you hear it from me, is bullshit. Here it is, just for the sake of history.
Did you know about the stuff that came out of Albuquerque last night?
I saw it today. When I saw it today, I said, everybody's going to think this is why he retired. Maybe that is why he retired.
That's relief.
Who the
right
hell
there.
knows, man? But I don't know. These are all questions you got to ask him. We had the fight done. You saw me talking about it very confidently that this fight was going to happen, and then he changed his mind.
We had it, and then he changed his mind. And there you go. And that ties it all together. And by the way, for the sake of history and the timeline, here's Tom reacting to the news.
Everyone, the news has broken. I'm sure everybody's seen it. UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Moving forward, very, very important to me, just that I acknowledge everybody quickly who has supported me in this. I'm not going to say it was a tough time, but a bit of a challenging time over the last kind of 10, 11 months that I have been inactive due to no fault of my own. But luckily, that is all behind us now. Massively appreciate the support from everybody. Massively appreciate the support going forward. I am going to keep this thing as active as possible. I want to be the best heavyweight ever to walk the face of the earth. I'm going to defend this thing as many times as I possibly can. I'm going to keep you guys entertained. I'm going to really give back to everybody who has shown me support over the last year, over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years. Really appreciate the support and love from everybody. And we're going to see an active, defending UFC heavyweight undisputed champion going forward. Thank you guys, and I'll speak to you soon.
PT, maybe you could speak on this. I hope that the UK media, the European media at large, treats him like the champion that he is. Fury, Joshua, Dubois, these guys get a lot of love. Moses Atama, they don't give Tom even that much, reporting and coverage like they do the boxing champions. And let's not even get into the football. They need to get behind this guy. This is the heavyweight champion of the world. This is the guy that made the GOAT retire. Are they going to get behind him? Is there any sign that they're getting behind him?
Yeah, no, there is. I think it's a large part down to the situation as it played out. I think that's one of the big hamstrung situations of this was he was building up so much momentum. As I've told you before, he's been in spots that not a lot of people have been in terms of, you know, big time TV shows, everything like that. Michael McIntyre's variety show he was on, you know, doing comedic bits there. He was on Question of Sport, which is like a real legacy show on the BBC. He is well liked, and I think they will get behind him. It's just a matter of him competing. Like I saw a pure fever for the guy when he was in those London main events. He added something to those cards that we haven't seen in a long time, and he is this kind of everyman. Even though he's definitely, it just takes you meeting Tom Aspinall once to realize this is far from the average guy walking down the street. He's just a Goliath. He's a massive dude. But I can remember for the Volkov fight, and I think that's this first UK main event, and it's the best. It turned out to be the best London card ever, I feel. It was after the pandemic, and there was just this explosion of joy, and he was the guy at the top of that card. But the day of that card, I was staying in a hotel just down the road from the Fighter Hotel, which is usually the Hilton. And I'm just outside, walking back, and next I see just Tom walking by himself down the road, the day of his main event, just walking through the streets of London. I was like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I was just walking around. I had nothing to do. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just going in here. And he's like, sure, I'll come with you. Walking through the lobby of this random hotel, just walking up and I rang you, I believe. I rang you and I was like, can you believe what this guy's doing? He's just walking around, shaking hands, talking to the fans before they go to meet him. He is... he's going to be a joy for the media to coverage, the mainstream media to cover over there. He is a very funny guy. He's from a working class background. He has very witty stories, very raw stories as well about lads getting their nose bit off as he's working the door in security. Like he knows what he's doing with this spotlight, and he has an opportunity. And I said this about him from the second I met him. He has an opportunity to change the perception of the sport. A lot of the sport is framed around what Conor McGregor is doing in the UK and in Ireland. And as we know, he has had his fair share of controversy too. He is the main frame of reference for everyone in the UK and Ireland as to what this sport is. Tom Aspinall is a completely different guy to that. He's a completely different guy to Jon Jones, who we spoke about earlier. So I think it's just a matter of him fighting. He will do all the media spots. He has no problem speaking to people. It does not exhaust him to get on and talk to TalkSport or the BBC or yourself or anyone else. He is very, very friendly with the media. I think we're on the verge of something massive here. I think he has the ability. I know Rick has kind of brought up, and I know he doesn't believe this, but he's right to say, like, if he was to lose his next fight, I don't think there's a hope in hell that he's losing his next fight or the next one after that. I think this is going to be the longest title reign in heavyweight history, and I'm looking forward to see what happens.
Wow. Those are some bold thoughts there, and I appreciate them very much. And so let's see. You know, the thing is, the Jon Jones story, he doesn't get to just kind of sail off into the sunset now, because we're going to have to see how this whole thing plays out. He's due in late July, which is in about a month. I think it was July 24th, if my memory serves me correct. So let's see. But for now, Tom can move on. Let us see what they do with him this weekend, if anything, and let's see if he pays a visit to our Vegas studio. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.